Good evening. The title of this video is Real Puerto Rican Talks About Puerto Rico Joke in Today's Trump Rally. As I said, I'm a real Puerto Rican. To be a real Puerto Rican, you have to be born in Puerto Rico, right? By the way, Puerto Rican is not a race. Puerto Rican is just the fact that you were born there, right? We happen to be Hispanics, right? Because we inherit Spanish from the Spaniards when they colonized Puerto Rico, right? And much like people from Mexico and South America, we are Hispanic because of that, right? But Puerto Rican is not a race. Now, having said that, as I said, to be Puerto Rican, you have to be born there. I cannot say, right, that, for example, even though I was born in Puerto Rico, I cannot say choose a random state, Florida. I cannot say that I'm a Floridian because I was not born in Florida. I was born in Puerto Rico, and so I am Puerto Rican. And this Puerto Rican happens to like comedy. This Puerto Rican also happens to like the First Amendment. I think is one of the best things the U.S. Constitution grants, and that is also applied into comedy. Comedy is about saying anything, no matter what, even if some people may find it offensive. Comedy is about making people laugh, right? And in today's rally, this particular individual, he was actually making fun of everyone. At some point, he actually made fun of his mom. I'm assuming that he's white, right? Because, and I say I'm assuming because, yes, he looks white, but so do I. And people would say, well, you're not actually white because you're actually Puerto Rican. But going back to what I said earlier, being Puerto Rican has nothing. Puerto Rican is not a race, right? And so, yes, I look white, and I'm assuming that that guy happens to be white, and so his mom is also white. And he made fun of his mom. He also made fun of other races. He made fun of the people in Israel. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but the people in Israel are actually mostly white. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is that he was actually making fun of everyone, and a lot of it included white people, right? So this was not a directed attack against a particular group, right? In this case, Puerto Ricans like myself, right? So having said that, AOC, who happens to not be Puerto Rican, she has Puerto Rican ancestry, but she's not Puerto Rican. She was not born in Puerto Rico. Although I actually do give her credit for her Spanish. It's actually pretty decent. Most people that are not born in Puerto Rico and have Puerto Rican ancestry, either their English is not good, straight up not good, or they just don't speak Spanish. And although, Puerto Ricans should be fully bilingual since we are a U.S. territory, the truth is we're not. Now, that's not part of the scope of this video. I'm actually giving AOC credit for her Spanish, right? But I want to say that basically what she was saying on social media is that the reason why these people, and by these people, he was saying basically trying to say that the people that will vote for Trump, even though this was a joke made by a comedian that made jokes about everyone, right? But anyway, she's trying to claim that Trump voters think that Puerto Ricans or people in general, what she meant was that people that make less money than them are garbage. That's what she actually intended on saying. So I want to give a little history about Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, much like Guam, Cuba, the Philippines, and other territories, was obtained by the U.S. after the Spanish-American War in 1898. And anyways, when that happened, in the beginning, in the States, I think it was Congress, they would have someone go to Puerto Rico and be the governor. This someone was someone from some random state, and they would be Puerto Rico's governor. But I believe it was sometime in the 50s or maybe the 60s. Congress authorized for people that were actually born in Puerto Rico to be electable for governor. And ever since then, we have had governors who were actually born in Puerto Rico, and they were elected by the people of Puerto Rico, right? Now, going back to what she said, basically that people, this is what they think of people that make less than you. Well, the reason why Puerto Rico is in the mess that it currently is in is because of something that she doesn't realize. By the way, in her stream, she was saying something along the lines of Puerto Rico is like a training ground or something like that of what they want to implement in the nation. And by they, she means, I guess, Republicans, right? But what she doesn't realize is the fact that that Puerto Rico is in the economic situation that it currently is because of decades of socialism, which is the type of government that she wants to implement across the nation. So in Puerto Rico, every governor that has been elected has been all about pushing this social justice programs, where basically what they have done is they have created programs much like, I'm going to give you an example, right? In the 1990s, this governor called Pedro Rosselló, which, by the way, by Puerto Rico standards, he would be a right-leaning politician, because in Puerto Rico, they don't see the right and the left as they truly are based on the nation and the world's view on right and left. They see right and left based on whether you want Puerto Rico to become a state or you want Puerto Rico to become an independent nation. If you want Puerto Rico to become a state, then you are right-leaning. If you want Puerto Rico to become independent, then you are left-leaning. But the truth is that, as we know, right, as in to the people I'm currently speaking to, people from the nation or maybe people from abroad, that has nothing to do with being right-leaning or left-leaning. You could be pro-independence and be a conservative when it comes to social aspects, and also when it comes to economic aspects. And you can also be pro-statehood and be pro left-leaning social and economic aspects. And having explained that, right? Well, every politician in Puerto Rico has been left-leaning. Every single one of them. Every single governor, and I dare say most of the people in the Senate, and also what would be called Congress, which in Puerto Rico is called la Cámara de Representantes. They are mostly or have mostly been left-leaning politicians. And because of the programs that they have implemented in Puerto Rico, such as what I was going to say back in the 90s, Pedro Rosselló implemented la tarjetita de salud. La tarjetita de salud is none other than a copy and paste of what Hillary Clinton wanted to implement in the nation when Bill Clinton was president. You know that every wife to every president, they have a project that they want to implement, and Hillary wanted to implement this basically single payer healthcare program, which was not approved because people that are actually they can think realize that this type of program would be an economic disaster. But in Puerto Rico, Pedro Rosselló, he actually got it implemented. He got it passed, and ever since the 90s, it's been an ongoing program, right? So, anyways, point being is that because of this particular program, although many other things that other politicians before him did and other politicians after him have done, the economic situation in the island is garbage, to the point where, by the way, in order to give people what they wanted, with this social justice programs, one of the things that they did in Puerto Rico, many governors did, was they were taking money from the Autoridad de Energía Eléctrica, which is the power company in Puerto Rico. They were taking money from it because the power company in Puerto Rico is owned by the government, right? And being a essential thing, right? And being a monopoly, they figured we're gonna keep on getting all this money, so we don't care. We're gonna start taking loans from what we think we're gonna earn, because this is an essential monopoly that we own, the government. So they started taking all these loans and they bankrupted it to the point where it is incredible to think that you could bankrupt a monopoly, an essential monopoly at that. And because of this, they could not fix it. And then came Maria in 2017, I believe, messed up the power grid. And then the Puerto Rico governor at the time, Ricardo Rosselló, the son of the Pedro Rosselló, which is the one that implemented the single payer healthcare program, which was one of the main things that ruined the economy of Puerto Rico. Ricardo Rosselló, his son, in 2017, went to ask for FEMA money to basically rebuild the power grid that all governments before him, and including his, had let rot. They destroyed it, and they could not fix it because they were taking so many loans to pay for these social programs that the people in the island love. And so the only reason why Puerto Rico is not a failed state, uh, as a matter of fact, if Puerto Rico was an independent nation, Puerto Rico would definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, be a failed nation. The only reason why that is not the case is because big government, the federal government, is always there and has always been there to get Puerto Rico out of their monetary problems by injecting tens of billions of dollars every year. And if it wasn't because of that, yeah, because at some point, I believe that Puerto Rico's debt got to be as big as $70 billion. Something that Puerto Rico was unable to pay. At some point, I think it was in 2014, the governor of the island, which his name is Alejandro Garcia Padilla, he decided to go against Puerto Rico's own constitution, where it states that the main thing that will be paid is debt. He went against it. He decided, you know what? I don't care. I'm not gonna pay the debt. And you know what happened? What happened was Moody's and all these other agencies that are in charge of basically giving like a score to lenders, they eventually gave the worst score that anyone could get. And because of that, Puerto Rico, the government, couldn't take loans anymore. Because of all this that I have already explained, which has been done by local politicians, because they have been, doing all these social justice programs that have ruined the economy of Puerto Rico. In 2016, I believe, they decided to implement this thing. It's an unelected group of people that are basically in charge of managing the economy of the island, right? Like, say this governor or the people in what would be considered Congress or the Senate, they want to implement this new fantastic bill where they're gonna spend so much money on social justice programs. Well, this group of unelected people, they say, no, you're not gonna do that because you actually need to save money, and what you earn per year is not enough to cover for what you wanna, spend, and you also need to be paying your debt because it's in your constitution, right? So, having explained all of that, it is obvious that that system, the socialist system, is not what the Republican Party promotes, right? And so, it is completely illogical to say, as Alejandro Ocasio-Cortez said, what's happening in Puerto Rico is the testing ground of what the Republican Party wants to implement in the rest of the nation, because it's actually because of policies that she actually supports, what she would like for the U.S. to implement, such as single payer healthcare plan, and the nationalization of the main sources of production, such as the power company, the water company, etc., etc. These things that she would like to implement across the nation is because of these things and the politicians that have implemented these social justice programs that Puerto Rico is how it currently is. So these are things that only a real Puerto Rican would know. And I have just explained them to you to understand why Puerto Rico is in the current state that it is. And if Puerto Rico is currently a garbage territory, it's because of socialism. So, having said that, hopefully you actually have a good sense of humor, that you understand that these things were said by a comedian that actually spoke about a bunch of groups. A bunch of the groups that he mentioned happen to be white, and that people should only speak about things that they know. And Alejandria Ocasio-Cortez clearly doesn't know anything about Puerto Rico. If you actually learned something with this video, I appreciate you sharing it. Thank you for listening, and until my next video, thank you.